Have you ever noticed how, in the final years of life, some things begin to change? Have you ever noticed that in the final years of life, many older adults begin to show certain changes, things that never appeared before? This isn't just a medical question. It's something that often weighs on the hearts of families and seniors alike. As the years pass, we start to notice small but undeniable shifts in how we move, how we speak, and how we experience the world around us. These changes can be so gentle, so subtle, that they're easy to dismiss as just getting older. But if you look closely, you'll realize they appear in many people, like a quiet rhythm of life itself, as it begins to slow down and come full circle. In today's video, we'll explore 7 common signs that often appear during the final year of life. Signs that go beyond physical health to include changes in the mind, emotions, and spirit. Whether you're an older adult yourself, a caregiver, or a family member, recognizing these changes early can help you respond with understanding, compassion, and timely care. Think of this not as something to fear, but as a gentle conversation, an invitation to understand more deeply, to appreciate more fully, and to make every moment together more meaningful. At the end of this video, we'll also share real stories and warm, practical advice to help you create a peaceful, loving environment for your loved ones. So, let's begin this quiet journey together. Sign 1. The body begins to slow down. One of the clearest signs that a person is entering the final year of life is a noticeable decline in physical activity. Someone who once walked every morning, tended their garden, or kept their home tidy may now move less, rest more, and lose interest in the activities that once brought joy. This isn't simply about getting weaker with age. It's the body's quiet way of conserving energy, redirecting focus from constant movement toward rest, recovery, and comfort. This change can happen gradually over several months, or quite suddenly within a single season. Families might notice that their loved one goes out less often, prefers to stay home, and asks for help more frequently. Friends may observe that a once energetic person begins to turn down invitations saying, "I'm just a little tired," or "I don't quite have the energy today." Sometimes the person themselves will admit, "I don't know why, but lately even walking a few steps makes me want to sit down." Simple activities like climbing stairs, shopping, or folding blankets start to feel more tiring than before. Let's take the story of Mr. Robert, age 85, who was known in his neighborhood for never missing a single morning walk and for taking pride in tending his small backyard garden. But within just 1 year, Mr. Robert began to spend more time indoors, sitting quietly in his favorite wooden chair by the window, watching the trees sway and the birds gather outside. When his daughter asked how he was feeling, he smiled gently and said, "I still enjoy watching everything out there, but even small things make me tired now. I think my body just wants to rest." For Mr. Robert and many others, this wasn't weakness. It was a natural shift. His body was sending a soft, unmistakable message. It's time to slow down, take it easy, and enjoy the calm moments that remain. Although slowing down is a normal part of aging, when there's a clear and lasting decline in movement, that's a gentle cue for families to adjust their pace as well. Instead of pushing or worrying too much, it helps to create an environment where your loved one can rest comfortably, relax deeply, and still feel cared for. Sometimes, just sitting quietly beside them, holding their hand, sharing a light conversation, or helping with small tasks like folding clothes or watering plants can bring more peace than any treatment ever could. In summary, a decline in physical strength is not the end. It's the body's gentle reminder that what matters most now is not speed, but serenity and connection. With understanding and tenderness, families can help their loved ones move through this stage with grace, dignity, and love. Sign 2. Changes in appetite and eating habits. One of the most common signs in the later stages of life is a noticeable change in how older adults experience food. Meals that once brought excitement, family memories, and comfort begin to lose their appeal. The food tastes bland, harder to swallow, or simply not as good as it used to be. The body starts to send quiet signals that digestion, once a central rhythm of daily life, is now giving way to rest, preservation, and gentle slowing down. Some people begin eating far less, taking only a few small bites, or skipping meals altogether without feeling hungry. Familiar dishes, soups, rice, oatmeal, that used to be daily staples now make them quietly shake their heads. Even thirst diminishes, leading to less water intake, dry mouth, or darker urine. These changes rarely happen suddenly. They unfold slowly and softly, like time itself, breathing more gently. Often family members notice first uneaten meals, leftovers in the fridge, or that distant, thoughtful look when a loved one sits at the dinner table. Sometimes they won't refuse out loud, just push the plate away lightly, or smile and say, "I'm full," after only a few bites. Let's remember Mrs. Alice, age 81, once known throughout her neighborhood for her skilled hands and love of cooking. Every holiday, her home filled with the sweet aroma of her famous peach cobbler and freshly baked bread, made with care for the entire family. But this past year, her son noticed she spent less and less time in the kitchen. Most days, she preferred a small bowl of soup or soft fruit instead of full meals. When he asked if she was feeling unwell, she smiled softly and said, "Food just doesn't taste the same anymore, honey. I think my stomach's a little tired, too." At first, the family worried something was wrong. But after understanding that this was a natural transition of the body, they began to change how they cared for her, offering smaller, softer meals, divided into gentle portions throughout the day. Instead of insisting she eat more, they sat beside her, ate together, and turned each simple meal into a moment of connection and peace. When the body enters this deeper stage of rest, food itself becomes secondary. What truly nourishes is love, calm, and the feeling of being cared for. Sometimes a warm bowl of soup and a gentle smile are worth far more than a feast. If you're still watching this video and this message resonates with you, please comment number 2 below to let us know you're here. And if you haven't yet, tap subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss more heartfelt stories like this. Your support helps us continue sharing kindness and compassion. Sign 3. Longer and deeper sleep. As the body ages, its inner rhythm begins to shift quietly. During the final year of life, many older adults start to sleep longer and more deeply than before. They may doze off during the day or find it harder to wake up in the morning. If they once rose early for a walk, to cook or read the paper, those habits slowly give way to long, peaceful naps. This isn't a sign of laziness or lack of will. It's the body's natural way of conserving energy, allowing the internal systems to rest and find balance. Sleep becomes a form of silent healing, easing discomfort, calming the mind, and bringing a quiet sense of peace. Family and friends often notice that conversations trail off as their loved one drifts to sleep mid-sentence, or that they seem less engaged in activities they once loved. They might say, "I just need to lie down for a bit. I'm so tired." Even after doing something small, like folding laundry or answering a phone call. Let's think of Mr. Charles, age 83, once admired in his town for his sharp memory and love of crossword puzzles. Every morning, he'd sip his tea while solving the newspaper crossword, and in the afternoons, he'd visit friends for a friendly game of cards or chess. But during his final year, his daughter began noticing small changes. His crossword book often slipped from his hands as he dozed off, and those card games grew less frequent as midday naps became longer. At first, Mr. Charles felt embarrassed, worrying others might think he was getting lazy. But when his family gently reassured him that it was perfectly natural, he began to embrace those long naps with peace in his heart. Sleeping more and sleeping deeper isn't something to fear. It's the body's quiet way of letting go, recharging, and preparing for complete rest. Families can support this stage by creating a peaceful environment, a quiet room, soft bedding, gentle lighting, and most importantly, the freedom to rest whenever needed. Instead of trying to wake them to keep them active, honor their body's rhythm. Rest at this stage is not avoidance, it's balance, healing, and release. When we understand the meaning behind these long sleeps, we stop feeling sadness and start feeling gratitude and tenderness. Because in this season of life, sleep itself becomes a gentle farewell, a soft whisper from the body saying thank you to life. Sign 4. When seniors begin to withdraw and speak less. A familiar but often misunderstood sign during the final year of life is a quiet withdrawal from social activities and daily conversations. Someone who was once outgoing, cheerful, and loved to share stories may now prefer to listen rather than talk, staying home more often instead of going out. If they once enjoyed community gatherings, calling friends to check in, or joining lively family dinners, they may now gently turn down invitations saying, "Maybe another day," or "I'm a little tired. I think I'll just stay home tonight." At first, these changes seem small, skipping a few events, missing a few phone calls. But over time, the stillness becomes part of their rhythm, as if their soul is quietly seeking its own sense of peace. This isn't necessarily sadness or depression. More often, it's a natural shift of the body and spirit, as a person begins to prefer calm over noise, stillness over activity. Many older adults become more sensitive to sound and crowds, finding greater comfort in familiar spaces where they feel safe and at ease. Take Mrs. Helen, age 82, once loved throughout her neighborhood for her bright smile and lively energy at every community event. In her final year, she stopped attending the senior gatherings, politely declined book club invitations, and spent more time sitting by the window, watching the sunlight dance on the trees outside. At first, her daughter worried that her mother was lonely or sad, but she soon realized that Mrs. Helen was content. Her joy now came from smaller, quieter things: a warm cup of tea, birdsong in the morning, or simply sitting beside her daughter in silence. It wasn't withdrawal. It was a return to inner peace. For families, watching a loved one become quieter can feel difficult or even lonely. But instead of trying to pull them back into noise and activity, try walking beside them gently. Share a simple meal, watch their favorite show together, or hold their hand without needing words. Sometimes, quiet presence is the warmest form of love. When we honor their slower pace, they feel truly seen, respected, and loved, not for what they do, but simply for who they are. If this message helps you understand your loved one a little better, please comment number 4 below to let us know you're still with us. And don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss future videos filled with peace and understanding. Your support helps us share more stories that bring comfort and compassion to families everywhere. Sign 5. Changes in memory, focus, and speech. Another subtle but common sign in the final year of life is a change in memory, focus, and communication. You might notice that your loved one forgets familiar names, misplaces objects, or pauses mid-sentence while telling a story. They may repeat questions, take longer to respond, or struggle to find the right words. At first, you might brush it off as just part of aging. But as time goes on, the changes become more noticeable, as if the mind itself is gently slowing down, allowing the body to rest. Some people grow quieter, less talkative, and lose interest in reading or puzzles they once loved. Others may become more easily frustrated or anxious when they can't recall something that once came naturally, like a friend's name or where they left their keys. Think of Mrs. Patricia, age 78, once known in her family as the human encyclopedia for her incredible memory. She could recall every detail of vacations decades ago and never forgot a single birthday. But in her final year, her daughter began to notice changes. Mrs. Patricia sometimes forgot stories she had just told, repeated the same details, or paused mid-sentence, struggling to remember what came next. At first, she felt embarrassed, worried her family might think she was losing it. But with gentle reassurance and patient understanding, her family helped her find peace with this change. When memory begins to fade, the most important thing is not to correct or criticize, but to maintain an atmosphere of patience, love, and calm. Instead of saying, "You already told me that," try smiling and letting them tell the story again, because sometimes repeating those stories is how they stay connected to the world. Families can help by showing photos, sharing old memories, and listening fully, even when the words come slowly. For an older adult, Comfort doesn't come from perfect recall. It comes from feeling heard, accepted, and loved, even when the details slip away. If these reflections help you better understand your parents or grandparents, please comment number 5 below to let us know you're watching. And don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss another video that brings peace, understanding, and warmth to every season of life. Sign 6. When emotions and moods begin to change. As people enter the final chapters of life, their emotions often grow more delicate and more profound. Someone who was once cheerful and optimistic may become quieter, more easily moved to tears, or occasionally sad without clear reason. Others, in contrast, may find a deep sense of calm, as if, after years of rushing, they've finally found a resting place for the soul. These emotional shifts follow no clear pattern. They come and go softly, like a passing breeze, sometimes without any obvious cause. A familiar song, a scent from long ago, or the sound of a child's laughter may suddenly bring tears to their eyes. Some lose interest in old habits, watching TV, reading the paper, or chatting about the news, preferring instead to sit quietly, listen to the wind, or watch the sunlight spill across the porch. Take Mr. Henry, age 83, once the heart of every family gathering, always joking, teasing his grandkids, never sitting still for long. But during his final year, his daughter noticed that he spoke less, often gazing quietly into the distance. Sometimes tears welled up as he listened to an old song that reminded him of his late wife. He no longer wanted to go out much. Instead, he enjoyed sitting on the porch with a cup of tea, watching wildflowers sway by the steps. At first, his family worried he might be lonely or depressed, but soon they realized he wasn't sad. He was peaceful. Those tears weren't signs of weakness, but a gentle release, his soul making peace with life, love, and memory. Emotional change is a natural part of life's closing journey. Sometimes it's the body adapting to fatigue. Sometimes it's the spirit preparing to let go. Families can help simply by being present, listening without judgment, without the need to cheer them up. A warm glance, a soft hand to hold, or quiet companionship can mean more than any words. Your calm and gentle presence can become the most powerful comfort, a silent reminder that they're loved, accepted, and never alone. If you've made it this far and found these reflections meaningful, comment number 6 below to let us know you're still listening. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you can continue joining us for more thoughtful, heartwarming stories about life, love, and understanding. Sign 7. When breathing and physical comfort begin to change. In the final stages of life, subtle changes often appear in breathing patterns and physical comfort. You might notice your loved one taking shorter breaths, pausing mid-sentence to catch their breath, or sighing more often. Simple actions, walking a few steps, climbing stairs, may start to feel exhausting. Some begin sleeping with extra pillows to help them breathe more easily. Others shift positions often, trying to find what feels most comfortable. There may be mild swelling in the feet or ankles, a sense of heaviness in the chest, or quicker fatigue after small movements. All these small signs are the body's way of adjusting, like an instrument slowly quieting after a long, beautiful song. Think of Mrs. Grace, age 84, who loved caring for her plants and reading on her balcony every morning. During her final year, her son noticed she moved her favorite chair closer to the window, where sunlight filtered gently through the curtains and a soft breeze drifted in. She often sat quietly with her eyes closed, taking slow breaths, sometimes whispering, "It's a little harder to breathe than before." Instead of pushing herself to keep up, she chose to rest more, eat lightly, and enjoy peaceful afternoons surrounded by family. Her son, once anxious, learned to walk beside her pace, adding a soft cushion behind her back, turning on a small fan for comfort, and simply sitting next to her, their hands clasped, breathing in rhythm, calm and unspoken. Changes in breathing aren't something to fear. They're part of the body's gentle transition as it slows down. At this stage, the goal isn't to make them stronger, but to help them feel comfortable, rested, and never alone. A small fan, a soft pillow, a warm cup of tea, and above all, a familiar hand nearby. These simple things can bring the deepest sense of peace. When we learn to observe and accept these changes with love, we begin to see that every breath, every smile, every glance is part of a beautiful, graceful farewell, a thank you from life itself. If this message brings you peace, please comment number 7 below to let us know you're still here with us. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue sharing gentle, healing stories that remind us of the beauty, dignity, and compassion in every stage of life. Closing reflections: when understanding becomes love. As we come to the end of this gentle conversation, take a quiet moment to reflect on the 7 signs we've just walked through together. Perhaps somewhere among them, you recognize a part of yourself, or catch a glimpse of your mother, your father, or someone you hold dear. Maybe you've noticed someone eating less, sleeping longer, speaking less often, or simply sitting by the window, watching the sunset fall softly at the end of the day. These small changes, so subtle, so easy to overlook, are the whispers of time itself, reminding us that life is slowing down and that every moment shared is more precious than we often realize. The purpose of sharing these reflections isn't to create fear or sadness, but to bring understanding, awareness, and compassion. When we recognize what's truly happening, we learn to love more deeply, listen more patiently, and care more tenderly. Sometimes a warm glance, a gentle touch, or a quiet meal shared together in silence is all it takes for someone to feel loved, valued, and at peace. Each person's final year is unique. Some choose silence, some choose sharing, and others simply smile softly, as if to say, "Everything's all right now." No matter how that journey unfolds, those of us who remain can make it more beautiful, more peaceful, and more human. With understanding, patience, and unconditional love, we can create a home filled with calm and care, where every breath, every smile, every touch carries deep meaning. Because your presence, your sincere, patient presence, is the most precious gift your loved one could ever receive. And sometimes You don't need to say anything at all. Just sit beside them, quietly, patiently, with an open heart. And that alone becomes a language of love, comfort, and peace. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt journey. If something in this video touched you or made you reflect, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your words might bring hope to someone walking the same path. Every comment, every story you share, is the inspiration that keeps us creating gentle, healing messages about love, kindness, and gratitude. If this video brought you peace or helped you see life with new understanding, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support allows us to keep creating content that connects hearts and reminds us of what truly matters. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue to explore the simple, quiet things that can warm a lifetime.